me, I have a love-hate relationship with this game.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Today we're very excited to do a review for not just one, well, it's one game with this expansion, the Red Cathedral, and the first expansion, Contractors. I just assume there's going to be more than one expansion, well, hopefully. So we're going to go through the overview of the base game first, and then we're going to give you an overview of the expansion, and then I'm going to tell you what we think of base game, expansion, with or without, and so on.
So Red Cathedral, there's dice involved, it's a resource management sort of game. And we are building these towers here in 16th century Russia. And we're racing to complete these towers and get as many points as possible. The game, interestingly, has two paces of points. It's got what I call small points or reputation, which is represented by this icon here. And then it's got big points or prestige, represented by these gold eagle icons here. And as you gain more and more reputation, those things come together. And it lends an interesting pacing to the game. On your turn, you'll take one of three possible actions. The main one is going to be to use the wheel. So you can pick up any one of the dice, move it as many spaces forward around the track as it has pips, and then gain the resources at your destination, once for each die that's there. So moving that around there would give me this 2 wood twice. So I would take 4 wood and I would add that to my player board. You also get the opportunity to do an action from the guild card that is in that location. So here I could get a coin, for example. And sometimes you get some bonuses for dice as well. So that's the main thing you do. At the end of your turn, when you do that, you re-roll the dice in that location. So they're going to be different for the next player, and that keeps things fresh. Your second option is you can claim one of the tower pieces going from bottom to top. Simply put your banner on it, and you get the workshop tile that comes off it, and this is a bonus. So you either pay the money that's shown on one of these spaces to place that bonus there, or if you can't afford it or don't want to, you just flip it face over and block up one of these spots. And from this point forward, whenever you move that die, you'll get that bonus. So I could move green on a subsequent turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get this 2 stone and get a gold.
In any orders you want.
Yes. And do that stuff.
Yes.
The third action is you can deliver resources to the towers. And you can deliver up to 3 resources on a turn. And they have to go either on your banners where you've done it. So I could deliver a wood here. And if I had 2 stone, I could deliver 2 stone there as well.
3.
Or you can deliver them to decorate the tower, which I don't have well set up at the moment. But if this has previously been built, I could deliver a wood and some gems to make a door on that. And I can do it on my own or on anyone else's. And
it's your coloured door, the green one.
Yep. And doing these decorations is going to give you some immediate big points, prestige points.
Just to go 2 different points. Smaller one, or big ones.
Yes. You keep going round and round the table like that, resolving these actions and building these pieces and getting the points and coins and things on them until someone has built 6 pieces, and that will trigger the end of the game. You finish off, you score majority points for having the most banners and decorations in these towers, and the bigger towers that have been more built are worth more points. So it drives area control to the bigger places.
Yeah.
And whoever has the most big points at the end of all of that wins.
That's basically the base game.
Yes.
Now, what does the Contractors bring to the game?
So the Contractors expansion, it really does 2 things. The first is that it just gives you a whole lot of new guild cards, and you would swap out the cleric, which is the one that focuses on giving you little points, for one of the new ones from the game. And that just gives you a new focus, a new sort of thing to do. Lots of replayability there. But the other thing, and the major thing that Contractors brings, is the new mechanism with this board here, the Contractors or Specialists board. And you've got a new player board overlay as well that works with this. So there's 6 different cities here. Each either corresponds to one of the towers or is blocked out.
Placed randomly?
Yep. There is a new resource that replaces little points called permits. And there is a new... Yep, that would be replaced as well. I don't have one with me, but would be replaced. And there's also a new die, which is the black die. You've got a 4th option for your turn, which is you can send one of your contractors out to find a specialist. So you will pay permits equal to the number of contractors in your destination, including yourself. So it will cost 1 permit for my first one in a location. If I wanted to send a second one there, it will cost me 2 permits, or I could go somewhere else.
For 1.
Yep. So I'll pop myself out there.
That's per player though, not per other player.
Including other players.
Including other players.
If you went there next, you would pay 2 permits.
Yes.
And then you would take one of the specialist tiles that is one of these stars adjacent to that city. Moscow's adjacent to them all. And pay 2 coins and place it on here. And this kind of works like a workshop, except it's once off. So when you move the black die, you can use this, and then it comes off your board and flips over and shows you a tool icon. The tools, you're doing a set collection of dissimilar tools, and that will give you big points at the end of the game. There's a little bit of area control out here. So when the tower that corresponds to that is filled, like is complete, so all of its portions are built, then you will gain big points equal to your contractors in that city multiplied by your banners on that tower.
To give you more points in that way, multiplier.
Yes. These replenish every time, and then once a tower is done, that city is closed. So that's really the 3 things it brings. It brings all these extra bonuses, it brings this set collection, and it brings this extra sort of points by focusing your contractors into the same tower as a tower that's going to be complete.
You made it like really easy, but this is quite a brain-burning game. And despite of the size of the box, my perception of it before I played it a while back ago, it was kind of like medium to light-ish. I mean, the rules is not that heavy, but when you start counting the points, it's like it's not as heavy as Kanban, but when you start with points,
that's a big comparison.
I know it's a big comparison, but you know what I mean. It's like the gaps between the action in Kanban is not too difficult, and here the action is not too difficult. It's basically 3 different actions with the contractors. The 4th action. This board is really neat because sorry, oops. So this is like double, kind of like double bottom. You can see it double there. And then it just clips perfectly in there. Sorry, Tarrant. Like that. So I'm like, oh, that fits very well. So yeah, that's just neat. Like, it's thoughtful thing, I think. What do you think, Tarrant?
Well, I don't think it's as brain-burning as Kanban.
I'm not saying that it's like it's Kanban, but compared to the rules, which is quite light, and the points that you can potentially get, or combo your actions.
So I'll focus on the base game first.
Sure.
I thought it was really quite nice, and I thought it was a really nice, gateway plus sort of game, because
it's not a gateway game.
I think, well,
this area is more complex than.
I think it is because I think it is. I think the actions are very simple. I think it involves, it brought me back to Catan because it involves a dice roll that can sort of change things on you really quickly. And, it's simple. You go around and get resources. You put resources out there, and you're trying to area control in 5 towers. And you can do your area control by completing the sections and getting banners, and they're worth a lot of points and area control points. or you can zip in on other people's towers with these decorations and get a lot of, get big points, but spend your whole action doing that. And I just liked all the different options. The fact that even in the base game, there was I think there was 12 of these cards, and you use one from each of 3 sets. And where they end up gives you all these different it gives you a surprising amount of replayability. And like the first time we played, we had this guy who was worth little points, and he was on the same. I remember this now. He was on the same quadrant as the little points marker, and I got a little points workshop on my white die, and the white die has a nice bonus where you can pay coins to move it further, which the other dice don't have.
So to get coins, keep landing there.
I just kept doing laps. There was like a couple of them on there, and I just kept doing laps and getting like 3 points every time. And because it was near the end of the game,
even more,
every little point was a big point as well.
Yeah.
It really stood out to me that extra option was sitting there.
It's true.
And it means there's going to be heaps of those sorts of combos. Not every game is going to be the same. There's always going to be these little extra ways you can go about it. And that has that Catan feel as well, because sometimes you've got a map that gives you like 3 forests because they're all next to each other, and you've got to play it as it lies. And I think this, in a very simple way, gives you a lot of flexibility on playing it as it lies.
So, I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I love it because of what you just said, but then I hate it at the same time. Not hate is probably a strong word. I hardly use that. It's so frustrating at the same time. I plan my turn. Okay, I want to do this. This is the dice. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to land there. And then somebody do that. And then roll all the dice. And then I can't do that anymore. So that's like, it was like a bit like 5 tribes, I think, in that way.
The game has the 5 tribes issue.
Yeah.
It's not quite, it's not exactly like 5 tribes, because the biggest issue with 5 tribes and then Yamatai, which came after it, was that kind of the perfect action for everybody is usually a variation on the same thing. And I guess that's sort of the case here as well, because everyone would always be able to play the same set of dice for the biggest action, but then it all changes. And if you're not thinking ahead, there can be a lot of downtime trying to recalculate what is optimal. So maybe it is quite a lot like 5 tribes. You don't want that thing where you recalculate every time, because that will slow things down.
It's not always doesn't always happen, but when that happens, that could be the case. If you have coins that handy, you can just move other dice. But sometimes I just really need that one green gem, and you just couldn't get any other dice to get there to complete your thing. And then other people would I just compacted this so that you can see everything. It's not like meant to go like that. But then other people that just finished there. It's my fault as well. I didn't really race to complete my bottom tower, and then I lose points because I couldn't get that one. And then I was like, I'm gonna complete that, but I'm gonna wait until I have this gem so I can get the decorations happening as well. That's also my fault.
There's a nice timing piece to that as well.
Yeah. That is that's a good puzzle, which is really good. It's really puzzly, but at the same time could be frustrating. This is what I say, love and hate relationship with this game. I love it, but it can be frustrating.
Yeah, I think for me, I really do like it, and I think like 5 tribes, if people aren't on the ball and thinking about it, it's going to stretch out.
There's loads and loads of replayability for this one. This is one of them. This is how you build the tower. This is one of the random cards you draw, how you build your tower. These get placed randomly. We're talking about the base game.
We're still on the base game.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just keep my opinion for the expansion a bit later.
So what's your opinion on the expansion?
So this board, I know that I can reroll my dice in the base game as well, but it will give you contractors, which handy, some of the bonuses here. You can focus on other things. You can get, whatever bonus. That's the thing that I need. So you just grab it by sending contractors. But then you have to get these resources as well. Sometimes it's hard to get. Sometimes you just want to send your contractor at one place to get resource, or get the set collection thing, or actually endgame scoring. I think those three. I think I'm lacking. I'm like, I want instant gratification, so I kind of like, I tend to just get it right now. But this contractor adds a little bit more complexity in this area, especially. I'm saying brain burning, like could be brain burning sometimes, trying to map it out and then change it straight away. That's probably what I meant. It's not that difficult, and I definitely will clarify it's not like Kanban, but what I'm trying to say is Kanban action is like action and then scoring.
The scoring, the scoring is more complex than the gameplay.
Complex. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much. I do like the dice building. Well, this is also on the base game. I just haven't mentioned it before. I do like getting this. I think this is what happened. I love it so much that I keep putting my banner without completing. And then somebody else completed before me, and then I get all those coins.
Yeah, we did. Well,
I keep doing that. I just want this, I want that, I want a lot of things. That's a sign of good games, right?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story of the first time we played with Contractors.
You always remember your first time, right?
First time we played with Contractors, there was a tower that was 6. You claimed the bottom one. I claimed all the rest and ended up with 2 contractors on that city. So it was kind of a gamble because I had to make sure the biggest tower got finished in order to score the points on here.
Yeah.
And because I was going to get so many points out of it, I wasn't going to get any help from anyone. Because you had the bottom banner, you could have stopped me from getting points off the top banner because you could have just waited there and never finished it. But then you would have lost like 15 little points.
I know.
As I went finishing it. So you had this incentive to finish it as well. So I think that was a very extreme example.
That's very clever mechanic though. They, surely thought of it.
I think that was a very extreme example of using this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got that same pace as well. So you've got the risk on the big towers that it doesn't get completed and never gets scored. The small towers, you're not going to get anywhere near as many points, but they will finish early in the game.
You can complete it yourself easily.
Yep. And the big points that you get from doing it, because you score them immediately, they're the more valuable big points that you get earlier in the game. So it's kind of got a clever pacing to it.
Yeah, I guess this automatically, the taller tower, once somebody's starting to put banners, other people would also want to race to put banners for their points, especially then they look at the contractors. Oh, they've got a lot of contractors. I want a piece of that. Because, there's majority point, but second players also get something and third player gets something. So there's a incentive all of just putting one banner in it, or decoration, really.
Overall, I don't know if this new mechanism, it's definitely well balanced, and it gives, if you've completely worn out your old Red Cathedral, this gives you some new options and pathways. But it's one of those expansions for me that detracts from the elegance of the base.
Doesn't really add anything to it to you.
I think I would prefer to play with just the base and maybe the extra guilds to give extra options. And the other thing that made me, I described before my excitement with just doing laps and scoring this. This takes this one away. And I was like, where's my
No, come on, that's not fair.
Where's my other fun way of scoring that I enjoyed so much last time? So
I'm sure there are other ways of scoring.
There are other ways, but when that came up, I was just like, oh.
No, that's not fair, Tarrant. Anyways, that's a fair comment, fair opinion. This, I would think that this would suit the same group of people who are familiar with it and play multiple times. Because, as I say again, lots and lots of replayability. These cards that comes with the Contractors, for example, there's one card, or there's actually several cards that bring a bunch of other stuff in it.
Yes, I've lost track of which ones of these are base game versus others, but there's ones that have gems, so there's new gems that come with
it's like,
the game.
It's full on, like it's like a mini game on its own, not really. And there's this one here.
These guys come with like brick tiles, which give you some extra bonuses.
That's bonuses.
And this guy,
bonus.
he lets you cash bricks into points. So if he's on a spot where the bricks are, laps.
Now Tarrant's be happy. Tarrant will be happy because of that.
Yeah, There's one that's got a whole extra deck of contract cards that let you like gather resources and complete contracts. This guy's got his own Meeple. So yeah, lots and lots of...
And lots of icons.
Yeah, and all you have to do is bring one or two of... Well, you're only meant to bring one of these cards in, but it just changes... It's like in Maracaibo, like between scenarios in Maracaibo, there's only one or two changes to the board. But because of how intricately that board is laid out, and it can feel like a whole different...
game.
A whole different game.
Mechanic.
Just with this one tiny difference, it can change everything again.
Okay, so I do like the extra board because it gives me other things that I can distract myself. Maybe that's not a good thing, and then I abandon the tower. But I think I'm gonna, I like that. Maybe we can compensate, Tarrant. One game we play the base game, the next one with the contractors, and I'll let you take this one, your favorite little card.
No, I do. There's some good stuff in here, and if you really focus on this, and if everyone else is avoiding it and you spread out, you can get 16 big points if you get a set of all the ones that are different. That's
actually really good. Yeah. But towards the end, if you are right there, just like basically just 1 point, unless if you like doing laps, then that's okay. But then other people would do laps as well. Now, have you played the Red Cathedral? Did you pick it up at Essen? This is also one of the game or expansion, in this case, that I mentioned in our most anticipated Essen 2022 games, which is the expansion. Now, I got it earlier. I just hadn't had a chance to play it earlier. Oh, well, I did, but we hadn't had a chance to do the video earlier before Essen. And this is it. So I think if you play it, if you love it, you play it a lot in your group, then I would recommend getting the expansion. But otherwise, the base game would be fun too. Is that fair to say?
I think so. I think you would want to be very well acquainted with the base game before going to this expansion. It doesn't it doesn't click on easily.
Yeah, but still, it's a good game. Let us know if you like it, you don't like it, what you think of it, and that is it. Hopefully you enjoy that. If you want us to make more of these type of videos or suggest us what sort of games you'd like us to review even, please do write in the comments. That will really help us. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done that. The bell thing, ding 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 if you want to get notification. I'm also on Instagram, so find me there as well, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.